Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, November 27th. It is 2:24 p.m. and I am coming to you live because um Monday I got uh I got blown out of the water with my with I found out. Well, there's a long story, which I'm about to tell you actually. So Monday, I just completely just never was able to come live. So here we are, Wednesday. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I assume by this point most people are not working, finished up, done for the weekend, which is awesome. I am also just about to finish up, and I'm actually then going to start making some pies for tomorrow. My Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I mean, honestly, an entire holiday devoted to eating is about as good as it gets for me. But in this case, I particularly enjoy gathering with family, and I love making the pies. My mom is hosting this year. She's an amazing cook, and we normally do a whole Italian meal before we even get to the turkey meal. So we have raviolis and meatballs and sausages and the Italian stuff, and then a whole separate meal of turkey and stuffing and sweet potatoes and cranberry sauce. Just it's like an 8 hour ordeal, and then there's almost always like a dessert per person. It's just insane. My glutton loves it, and that like again, it's just a full day of eating, and then there's always leftovers, and there's so much food, and I'll eat all weekend from like all of the leftover Thanksgiving. Um, so I do hope that you have a beautiful day, whatever you're celebrating. I understand that sometimes holidays can be particularly challenging, and I imagine that this year might be even more so as we are in some political upheaval and dealing with people who maybe don't see things the way you do. And so, what I invite you to do is set up ahead of time how you want to feel, how you want it to go. Now, I think I've been pretty open about the fact that my stepdad and I haven't ever really gotten along, though, for the sake of holidays, we're usually pretty civil. Um, and the more I project how I want to feel and be in relationship with him, the easier our relationship gets. And in fact, it's actually been pretty easy for us to be together for the past couple of years. We haven't really had any dust ups or anything. And I think I mean, I know it's because I'm holding a different energy. Like, I don't feel that same level of anxiety when I have to go to my parents' house, and certainly not on a holiday. So I understand that sometimes holidays can be challenging. I was having a conversation with my lifelong best friend yesterday. She was talking about the tension in her family. And I said, well, what would it look like if you just, rather than brace for challenge and like sort of how are we going to manage this? Because again, where you put your energy, where you put your attention is where your energy goes. So preparing for the worst is creating it. And so I asked her, what would it look like if you just held the energy or the belief or the expectation that it's all going to be easy, and people are going to be very kind to each other, and just have it, how do you want to feel at the end of the meal, like satisfied and happy and connected and in community. So then feel that ahead of time. Don't go into it expecting trauma or drama. Go into it expecting to feel awesome. Which is, I invite you all to do that. And this isn't like, it's not love and light only. It's not like, it's not spiritual bypassing. That's not what I'm asking. If you're anxious, feel it. But also, don't anticipate what hasn't happened yet. Don't borrow trouble, in other words. You get to create your reality. So why not create what you want? If you're just making shit up anyway, and anxiety is totally making up shit that hasn't happened yet, if you're just going to make it up anyway, why not make it what you want rather than what you don't? I mean, that's just easy, right? I will say that I had to put this into practice this week because my car started acting really funny on Saturday. And so on Sunday, we went to see Wicked, which was amazing. That was what I was going to talk about on Monday, was Wicked. That's its own separate post, which I will totally do in another time. But my car acted funny, so I was like, huh, I don't like this. So I I went to my sister's house, but we didn't go all the way to Saugus. We went with my sister. Then we came home, and I just was like, I don't love this. I took Lily to school on Monday, but I was like, I don't love this. I don't think it's not acting right. So I took it to the mechanic on Monday. He couldn't even look at it until Tuesday. But it was losing power. It wasn't driving. It was like I was on the highway and like it was losing gas. Like I wasn't like I kept having a downshift. It was weird. Um, and so it turned out that my I needed a new fuel pump. And I was like, shit, okay, all right, new fuel pump, I can deal with it. It's expensive, but it's a new fuel pump. So then they called me yesterday. They said, yeah, it's good. We'll have it done tonight, blah, blah, blah. Great. So then they called me last night. It was getting later and later and later. And I was like, something's wrong. So they called me at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon to tell me that not only was it the fuel pump which they replaced, but the one of the cylinders isn't firing the way it's supposed to, which says there's engine damage. And I was like, shit. So I said, well, what are my options? And they said, um, either replace the engine or do uh, it's going to take serious repairs. And I was like, well, what are we talking? And he's like, it's a 10-year-old car. There's 140,000 miles on it. Just take it to the dealer and trade it in. So it sent me into a tailspin. Last night I was in this tailspin of like, shit, what am I gonna do? I need a car. All these, like all of the what ifs, all of the panic, all of the anxiety, all of it came up. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand that even though I do this work and I teach it and I share this message over and over and over and over again, when life throws you the curveball, this is why it's so important to have a practice and a discipline and a way to right your ship. Because there are times when life is going to throw you a curveball. Last night, this past couple of days with my car has been it. I've had to scramble to get Lily home from school. I had to borrow Katie's car to get Lily to and from school and get her friends to take her home again. And like I've had to like reshape my whole world, and it's been challenging. But to find out yesterday that my car that's been this workhorse that I love my car. She's a fucking workhorse. She's a 10-year-old car and I have loved her the entire time I've had her. To find out that she was inoperable was kind of a blow, and I just was like, I don't know how to blah blah all of it. And I started going into fear and lack and scarcity, and it just brought up all of it. And I felt it all. I allowed myself to feel it. I did the inner child reparenting. I did all the Ho'oponoponos and the method, and I got myself to a stable place. And I was like, okay, I had a plan of stuff I was going to do today, and I'll rework it. And of course, the timing is ridiculous. It's Thanksgiving, nothing's open, as you know what I mean. So, um, but I did my work. I was upset, but I wasn't like but I woke up this morning in a panic, like in a free fall. I just was like, what are we gonna do? It was awful. Um, so I spent a long time this morning doing my work. I did the method, like a long, long, long method. I really allowed myself each step. I felt the feelings. I felt love for myself. I allowed my energy to expand, so everything was divine. I felt myself as sacred, and I had to work at it. I did. I worked at it, and then I felt the things that I'm really good at, and then I felt the inner child of everybody, and that abundance of the universe, and then ultimately I said, "Thy will be done." I let go and surrendered. It took me a long time. And then at the very end of that meditation, I got that method. I did a whole deep, long meditation on what the balance is of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. I talked a little bit about it in my newsletter on Friday. The healing tonight, the group healing tonight, is going to be that in spades, I think. But it was really about if the divine feminine is wholly open and trusting and receiving. And I did actually have a ceremony last weekend or 2 weeks ago when I was down in Newport. I did a ceremony around receiving at another level. And I know this is related to that, right? Everything's happening for me. So I know this is related in some way. So I was like, okay, Because I specifically asked, give me the tools I need to receive at the next level, which is trust, which is the feminine, which is the flow, which is something I have historically struggled with, right? But can I trust? The masculine is the outward, the doing, the stuff that makes it happen. The feminine is the flow, allowing, receiving. Can I trust the masculine? Can I trust in the divine to provide for me at every level? Just like the method says. And I do. So it was asking me to take another leap of faith. If it didn't, if it wasn't this like crisis point with my car, I may not have taken this next level. And that's really so again, this is what I think the healing is going to be tonight, because this is what I was doing, obviously what I was doing. But normally what happens is I go through it and then I do the group healing for everybody else to go through it. And so what we're being asked is trusting, allowing, receiving. One more level. One more one more one more degree, one more expansion, one more, how much more can we trust? I got the sense, that for a long time we haven't been able to trust the masculine energy. That hasn't, men and women haven't known how to hold it, so we have, everything got out of balance. And so can we trust? Can we allow? Can we receive? Which is what allows the divine masculine to come in. We need both, and we all have both. But I had to find it within me first. But I had to sit in real quiet stillness for a long time this morning to get there. And my brain kept wandering, and I kept having to like cat bring it back and reparent. Like, it took all of the tools in my arsenal this morning to be able to right my ship. And I feel so firmly confident I can. And all day long, as I've been finding, doing, exploring, stuff's coming to me. Like, I'm actually, doors are opening and miracles are happening, and I'm actually trusting that this is exactly for me. And I have an appointment on Friday to test drive a new car, or probably a lease, whatever. But like, I can get here versus I couldn't do that this morning. I'm saying this to you because I teach this for a living, and still it took me out today. And so I really do invite you all to do your work. Find the practices that work for you. I Let me teach you my practices, or help you find your own. Please let me do this, because we need this. And we're all going to be experiencing this in some way, shape, or form, some level. I had a conversation with a client yesterday, and she was in full blown panic when she got on the phone with me. Like, full blown. I actually had to bring her into her body. We had to, like, there was a full blown panic attack happening before we could even do any coaching. We had to, like, get her grounded in present time. That's, on some level, we're all experiencing this collectively and individually. The things we're being commanded to change, to shift, to any level of work that you've done up to this point. The next level it's up, it's here, it's ready. And you may not, I believe firmly that we can't do this work alone. We can't do this work alone. Like, I called in all of my support team. I called in all of my high vibe chicks group, that I was like, just hold space for me. Just hold space for me. Just be there. I called in my Healers Guild. I had, Patty and my dearest friends, Kelly, and like, I called those guys in, and I said, just hold the space for me. Which is what gave me the ability to right my ship. And so again, if you don't have a tribe, let me help you find your tribe. I am creating group programs and healers guilds, and like, let me help you. Um, and truly, let me teach you. Let me work with you. I have made all of my services sliding scale from now until the end of December. Let me teach you how to do this. Work with me. Let's do some healings. Let's do some next level work. Send me your boyfriends and husbands, and I mean, I'm calling in men right now as well to work with them. So I know fierce happy women, but fierce happy people, fierce happy men. Um, so anyway, I I really want to work with you. I really want to teach this. I really want to share it. If nothing else, come to the group healing tonight. It's going to be pretty powerful. And I hope you have a beautiful Thanksgiving. Please try not to stress. It's all going to be perfect. It's all working out. There's nothing ever going wrong. Just today, just for now, can we, like Dr. Yusui says, just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not anger. Maybe you will, but all right, allow it. Just for today, I will do my work earnestly. That means just for today, I will have compassion for all living things, yourself included. Whether you're hosting, whether you're going someplace, allow it to be magical. Expect miracles. There doesn't need to be any anxiety. There doesn't need to be any stress. What if it was easy? Have a beautiful Thanksgiving. I will see you later in the week. Wish me luck on the car. Uh, and if any of you wants to like invest in a startup, talk to me because I could work with that too. I love you all.